What's going on, everybody? MSB Hicks. You need some suggestions for your Grand Tactician campaign. If you've got the enemy morale at 38, which is about where I've got him. Oh man, there's a big giant flying creature of some kind that just flew into my face. Go after. Of course, my wife's calling me right as I start a stream. Go after any cities that you can that you haven't captured. Significant cities that are near one of your armies. Like if you haven't taken Washington yet, go for Washington. Go for Pittsburgh. Go for Cincinnati, St. Louis if you don't have it. Try to take the fight to the enemy and do it that way, and you should be able to get him down those few points you need to win. So how's everybody doing? I hope you're all doing well. So what we're going to do today is it's not going to be a long stream. Got a lot going on this afternoon. My son's got his last couple of indoor soccer games for the year, football for the rest of the world. Do I believe that history repeats itself? No, but it does rhyme a lot. Because every time it repeats the way we would say it, it's really just a new version of something that has happened before. So that's the way I usually say it, is that history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. Yes. Good job, JD. That's Normandy. We're going to play Geoguessr in a little bit here, but before we get started, Tony, please do not start with that or you're going to get it blocked really quick. I'm going to talk to you guys about the upcoming trip to France that my daughter and I are taking, and some friends as well. Just give you a little bit of the highlights as far as what you can expect to see from that trip. Then we'll play a little bit of Geoguessr for a while. So, MC Binks, thank you for that. I appreciate that. That was very kind of you. So a couple weeks. So my daughter graduates high school. She just finished her last day of high school a couple days ago. She graduates next Sunday. And then she and I are headed to Europe. When I got home from the last trip, which was at the end of January, when I got back from Bastogne, she said to me as soon as I walked in the door, she said, "I don't care where you're going or what you're doing, but the next time you go, take me with you." So I'm taking her with me. We're actually flying into London because the tickets, the flights to London were like a third of the price of the flights directly to Paris, probably because of the time of year with Normandy and everything. So we're going to fly into London, get into London about 11 o'clock in the morning. We'll grab some lunch. I'm going to take her to platform 9 3/4 at King's Cross Station, and then we're going to take the Eurostar over to Paris. Spend 2 full days in Paris, then we'll pick up our rental car, and we are driving to our first hotel is going to be in Bayeux. And then on Friday of our time on the tour, I'm going to be spending the day with a few people that, if you've been on my channel for very long, you've heard me talk about. JD from the History Underground, my friend Rob from History in Your Hand, and our friend Sander from Sander VK History. We're going to go around, and JD, who actually all three of those guys have been to Normandy before. I'm the only Normandy rookie among them. But we're going to go see some of the sites there, and I'm going to make some videos for the channel. I was working yesterday on my research, specifically probably the longest video I'm going to make and the most detailed is the one that I'm going to make. I'm trying to get my bearings here. I thought, you know what? I only have a few hours to make videos that day before our tour starts the next day. So I don't have a lot of time to tell a lot of stories or tell any real in-depth stories. Certainly, you could do an entire video series on Omaha Beach and barely scratch the surface just on those few hours of the landings. So I decided the best thing to do is just to focus on one story. So we're going to tell the story of Company A, 116th Infantry of the 29th Infantry Division, more often known as the Bedford Boys. I know JD has covered some of their story in his trips to Normandy. I think he showed some of their graves at the cemetery. So the Bedford Boys were the first wave at Dog Green. So Dog Green is the sector you see in Saving Private Ryan, only we see it with the Rangers. The Rangers actually, I guess, technically landed in Charlie, which was the westernmost sector up here. But just to the east of them would have been Dog Green, and that's where Able Company, 116th, the Bedford Boys, as they were known, because Able Company was originally a National Guard unit stationed in Bedford, Virginia. There were 35 guys from Bedford that were in that company, and half of them, a little over half of them, were killed that morning. But we're going to tell their story. I've got some really good detailed accounts, like of the minute by minute, what happened to each boat, and what happened to their officers, what happened to their men. So we're going to tell the story of that company when we get there. So let me catch up on the chat a little bit, and then I'll tell you a little bit more of what we're going to be doing while we're there. Yeah, I would love to do some Egyptian history. Absolutely, Jay. On the channel page, you know all but one. Let's take a look. I'll tell you who they are. So we've got Patton, Richard III, Ulysses S. Grant, Otto von Bismarck. That is Rasputin, Henry VII, Abraham Lincoln, and Napoleon. So there you have it. Stephen, absolutely the other landing areas deserve attention. Unfortunately, I only have a few hours to make videos. I'm going to be driving from Paris to Bayeux the night before. It's a long day, Friday, in Normandy, so really not going to have time, unfortunately, to get to the other beaches. Hoping to get to Utah that day, but definitely not going to have time to get over to Juno Gold or Sword, unfortunately. But I will go back and do that for sure at some point, because there's so many, just like JD has figured out, there's so many stories to be told there. Devin, Canada, thank you. Yes, you Lutherans believe in the real presence in the bread and wine. That is 100% true. Had several people tell me that. I'm not real familiar with Lutheran doctrine, but a little bit. And Quattro, congratulations on finishing your first year of grad school. My opinion on Turkish presidential election, I didn't even know they had an election, so sorry, I couldn't really give an opinion. Yes, I have seen Truman with Gary Sinise. I really enjoyed it. So let me tell you a little bit more about what we're going to be doing, because we're still working on what the four of us are going to do that day when we're there, because I know JD's going to be there with Eric Dorr doing some stuff for a few days before the tour. But our tour itself, actually just got this morning with kind of a list of some of the stuff we're going to be doing on our Band of Brothers tour. We're going to be on a tour with, there's probably about 50 of us. Paul Woodage from World War II TV is our tour guide. Couldn't ask for a better guide than that. If you haven't seen his channel and seen the streams that he does and stuff, definitely check it out. Paul and I have talked about this, and we joked about how some of us, like myself, are like jack of all trades but master of none. Like, I know about a lot of different historical events, but maybe in one or two I might consider myself kind of an expert. But Paul is like a guy who has dedicated his life to one thing, and that's Normandy. He lives there, he lives it, breathes it, and he knows more than any of us could ever possibly research in our lifetimes. So excited that he is going to be our tour guide for that. When I first heard they were doing this tour, I kind of guessed it was going to be Paul. So I was not disappointed to find out that that's who it is. But we know for sure on the tour, and Matt Settle, who played Spears in Band of Brothers, is going to be with us for that tour, as well as my friend Matt Leach, who played Talbert. St. Mary Glees, Carentan. I'm told we're going to be doing a walk around the Bloody Gulch battlefield where Easy Company fought. Brecourt Manor, Marmion Farm, Saint Marie Dumont, St. Mary Glees, Chateau Belno, Angoville-en-Plaine, Omaha Beach, and the American Cemetery. Yeah, we'll probably do something about deism at some point for sure. But there's also, and Jack Anderson, yes, I have been to the Adams houses. They're phenomenal. I would have done videos there, but they don't let you record video inside the houses. But that night, June 2nd, we are all going to be a part of this event at the Airborne Museum in Saint-Mère-Église, where we are going to actually get, and I have the VIP tickets, which is for the pre-reception and everything. But we're going to be there with a number of Normandy veterans. Guy from the 29th Division, one from the 82nd Airborne, one from Juno Beach, one from Gold Beach, and then Maurice Renault, who is that the guy who runs the museum? JD, maybe you know this. That sounds familiar. I feel like, is he the guy who runs the museum at Dead Man's Corner? I feel like that's his name. And then a number of Band of Brothers actors, as well as one from the Pacific. Scott Gibson, Peter Youngblood Hillis, who played Shifty. Matt's going to be there. Peter McCabe, who played Hoobler, and Nolan Hemmings, who played Grant, and Alex, who played Francis Mellett, are going to be there for that. I'm going to visit Wales at some point. No, he isn't the one who does the Dead Man's Corner Museum? Okay. I have not been to Poland, but I definitely would like to go to Poland. Maybe when things calm down over in that part of the world a little bit. Find a family run to get some croissants. I've done that in my previous trip to France, but yeah. I definitely want to go to Carnarvon Castle in Wales for sure. I need to get to Dayton. I really want to go to the Air Force Museum in Dayton. It's like 3.5 hours from me to drive there. So Oliver Hunter, thank you for that. Yeah, Iwo Jima is really, really hard to get to. I'm guessing you will see JD get there before me. How is it Northeast Ohio? It's gloomy and rainy today, but it's been pretty nice all week. Been pretty sunny. Am I going to Scotland again anytime soon? Because I was there last summer. I'm hoping to, but I couldn't tell you when. There's no specific plans, but I know my whole family would love to go back to Scotland. They all absolutely loved it. Quattro, thank you. Favorite historic sites in and around the state of Virginia. Well, what's cool about Virginia is there's so much to see so close, right? You can go to, for example, Chancellorsville, Wilderness, Spotsylvania, and Fredericksburg's battlefields are all within like a half hour of each other. They're all super close. You could go down to Richmond and see a bunch of great museums there. You can go to Hollywood Cemetery. You can go to the Petersburg battlefields. You can go up further north, go to Arlington, go to Manassas, go to Washington, D.C. I really want to get back to the Shenandoah Valley, though, and see some of the sites there. I'd like to do some videos on New Market, Jackson's Valley campaign, things like that. Bentastic, thank you. I saw that Warhawk did a video on the Dakota Uprising. Funny story, because when JD and I were in Antietam with Gary Edelman, one of the guys from the Warhawk channel was there with us. And he actually reached out to me about a month ago and said, hey, we're going to Normandy. Do you want to go? And they're going like the week after I'm going. So I was like, no, sorry, I can't. Oh, hold on. My wife tried to call me. I got to respond to her real quick. Okay, MC Binks, thank you for that. Best restaurant in Paris, not overpriced. All you can eat steak frites. Oh, that sounds fantastic. I will keep that in mind. I'm gonna like take a picture of the chat so that I remember the name of that place. There we go. Future plans going to Boston, New England. I do need to get back there at some point. The American soldier landed on the church. I think that was in. Is that Saint-Mère-Église? I think that's where that happened. So, yeah, I think we'll probably be there. Oh, I've had plenty of ancestors that had bad histories. I did not visit the Imperial War Museum. I wanted to get there when I was in London a couple months ago, but I did not get there. Mason, thank you for the super chat, but I won't read what you said. I hope you'll understand. So that's the plan. And then after the tour, my daughter and I, as well as Rob from History in Your Hand, are headed east because we are headed back to the Somme battlefield. By far my best performing original content is the combined 6-part video series from the Psalm, which just went over 100,000 views. My original content doesn't usually get more than 15 to 20,000. So that one's done really, really well, and it's probably the series I'm most proud of in terms of Battlefield videos that I've done. So I'm going back to the Psalm. I'm going to do another 6-part series. Still working out the details of exactly what we're going to be doing, but I know for sure there's going to be a video on the Ulster Division. There's going to be a video on the Welsh Division. Probably going to do something on the first tank battle, which was in September 1916 at the Somme. Definitely going to do another episode of Stories of the Fallen, where we just visit graves in a number of cemeteries and tell the stories of individual soldiers. And then something I'm really looking forward to, and some of you have heard me mention this already, I've recently got my hands on these 2 medals, which both belong to a soldier named Walter Lloyd, who was part of the 1st Battalion of the East Lancashire Regiment, but was actually fighting with the 20th Manchesters at the Somme and was killed in August of 1916 at the Somme. And I have his medals that were issued to him posthumously and given to his family. His daughter died in 2005, and somehow these medals ended up on eBay. I can't find any living family members, or else I would definitely try to get these to them. And if I ever do find out that he has any like grandchildren or great-grandchildren alive, which I don't think he does, I will be more than happy to get these back to him. But if you're not familiar, the British medals actually have the name and service number of the soldier etched on the side of them. So that's why we know that these belong to Walter Lloyd. I originally picked up one of them and then got a message from another YouTuber who told me that he saw the second one on eBay, but it was only for sale to people in the UK. So that was why it wasn't showing up for me. So I actually had it shipped to my friend Rob's house, Rob from History in Your Hand, and then he sent it to me. So Rob, if you're watching this later, I still owe you lunch when we are in Normandy together. But we're gonna tell Walter's story. I've been researching his family, his story, what happened to him, and I found out a couple of days ago that Walter had an older brother, Robert, who was also in the 1st East Lancashires, who was killed in Ypres in December of 1914. So he was the second brother in that family to die. And we're gonna take these medals and visit his grave in Danzig Alley Cemetery while we're there. So pretty excited to be able to tell that man's story and to bring these medals, maybe for the first time ever, to his final resting place when we go there. So fantastic, thank you. Do I plan on doing a reaction to Warhawks Dakota Uprising? Probably at some point I will. MC Binks, thank you. If I branch into more history movie reactions, yeah, you know what? The reaction I did to All Quiet on the Western Front did really, really well. So yeah, I'll probably do more of those. I know my friend Jared Frederick, who lives in Pennsylvania, who you're going to probably see in some of JD's upcoming videos, does that on his channel and does a really good job of that. But I'll probably do some as well. Yeah, the Oppenheimer movie, I am very excited to see that. So that I'm going to be doing that at the Somme. Still working on what else I'm going to do for the Somme. Still working on the research for that. I guess I better get moving on it because I'm going to be there in 3 weeks. But things are pretty busy right now because we're getting ready for my daughter's graduation party. So I've been spending a lot of time in the yard doing weed whacking and getting flower beds ready and doing some painting and things like that. People do sell them, but I know there are organizations out there that that have a mission of trying to reunite these medals with their families, and I would very much like to see that happen in these. I know that if this were my family, how much that would mean to me to be able to have these. I actually bought these boxes to put the medals in at Eric Doerr's store in Gettysburg. And I have a few more of them too because I've got some other medals that I've gotten. But I also have on its way to me right now a funeral card for a German soldier killed at the Somme on the first day, on July 1st, 1916. He was killed by a direct hit from an artillery strike. And it's got his picture with his Iron Cross on in the picture, and it was actually something that was made. Germans do this. They do these funeral cards, which give all this information. It says exactly what company he was in, what regiment he was in, exactly how he died and where. So I'm going to take that funeral card with me and go to the spot where he was killed, which was at Beaumont Hamel. And I also have, obviously there's no way to know who it belongs to, but I actually have, in fact, let me go grab them and show them to you here. I actually picked these up on our tour last November, Battle of the Bulge tour that we did. We stopped at this little museum, and my friend Leighton, Leighton Hughes, who is a part of the We Happy Few 506 organization, actually picked up I think it was like a 1939 edition of Mein Kampf for 150 euros. But I picked up a couple of medals, German medals. So this is a wound badge from World War I, kind of their version of the Purple Heart that would have been given out. And these don't have names on them. And then here I have this is just I'm trying to remember because it's been a while since I looked it up, but I think it's just a campaign medal that shows that they served in World War I. And it says 1914, 1918 on it. And that's a German medal as well. So I'm going to take those with me to when we visit. I don't believe that man has a known grave, but we're going to visit the Fricourt Cemetery. I think that's where his name is on the tablets for the missing. Pecan 36. Always want. Have I ever been to the Indy 500? I have not. I'm not really into IndyCar racing. I'm more of a NASCAR fan, but I haven't been in any NASCAR races either. And Zach, thank you for that. I'll pass your congratulations on to my daughter. Spencer Heaton, I think The Chosen is absolutely phenomenal, and I love it. Who will be relegated from the Premier League? I didn't see the result of... I know two of the teams dealing with relegation were playing today, and I didn't see the result of that game, but looks like Everton might get relegated. I'm hoping Leicester City survives. All right, here we go. Let's see. Leeds is in danger too, and I'd really like to see Leeds survive only because their owners live like 2 miles from me. They're owned by Americans. I think they only own about half the team, but they're possibly going to be getting full ownership here, or at least a majority ownership pretty soon. Caleb Smith, thank you for that. History of barbershop harmony. Very interesting. Have I seen the Last Kingdom movie? Yes. I really enjoyed it. I always hate, they did the same thing with Game of Thrones, right? The last season of Game of Thrones, they were trying to do too much to kind of wrap it up. Traveling to history. Sander, right? That's your name. Are you going on the tour in Normandy, or are you just going to be there? But either way, it'll be great to run into you as well. Here's hoping Everton are gone, running through history. Typical Liverpool fan saying that. Do I think Iwo Jima was, in a way, a worthless battle? I guess you could make that argument because by the time Iwo Jima was taken, I think they had extended the range of... they had extended the range of the fighter escort cover or something. I'm trying to remember the details. I'm not really schooled in the Pacific War as much as I should be, but I believe some of the reasons why they wanted to take Iwo Jima were no longer the case by the time it ended up becoming more of like a place for emergency landings and stuff because they had extended the range of the planes by then. or I'm not even going to get into that, but I absolutely have nothing to apologize for, and I've never encouraged any attacks on his channel. In fact, I encouraged quite the opposite. If you watch my video about it, I spoke quite clearly telling people not to attack him, and I'll leave it at that. Thoughts on the Welsh language and its history. I don't know if I know that much about. You're going with some friends. Awesome. So hopefully we do get to run into you, Sandra. That'd be fantastic. It would be great to see you again. All right. So let's. I think that's everything I wanted to cover about the upcoming trip. Second group trip that's going to be made available to everybody is going to be next spring in Italy, next April. Going to Rome, the Vatican, seeing all the main kind of sites, the Colosseum, Palatine Hill, Spanish Steps, St. Peter's, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to go up to Florence for a couple of days, and then I'm planning on staying after, and people will be more than welcome to join me going to Pompeii and then probably Anzio. Kaiser Wilhelm, guten Tag, Herr. Guten Tag, Herr. Guten Tag. Top sporting event on my bucket list. I want to see West Brom, and I want to see Rangers. Oh man, they were playing Celtic today, and they were winning last I checked. I didn't get a chance to see what ended up happening with that. Did they win? Yes, beat Celtic 3-0. Lovely. Nathaniel, it's currently available for patrons and members. So far, 3 spots have been booked, so there's still 21 to go. But it will be made available to the public probably Tuesday. Do I have any relation to Pickett or his family? I do not. Do I think Hooker and Burnside would be good presidents? I think Burnside was a senator. No, you know who would have been a good president and who probably would have been elected president if he hadn't been killed in the war would have been James McPherson. And Rosecrans could have been president because he was actually considered for Lincoln's running mate in 1864. MC Binks, thank you for that. Traveling to history, that'd be great. Yeah, stay in touch with Sander. He can let you he'll know exactly what's going on with us and where we are and everything. Snapshot in history, thank you for that. Thoughts on General Samuel Curtis, probably better than people remember him for, which is not much at all. Were we affected by the oil spill that happened in Ohio? No, I live 15 miles from where that train derailment happened, but we are northwest of where it happened, and the wind here blows east, so we were upwind from where it happened, so no issues for us. Can I speak German a little bit? A very little, but I'm hoping that my German gets a whole lot better. I'm going to get really intense on my German lessons before I go to Germany and Austria in October. And thank you for that, German boy. What country would I live in if I did not live in the USA? Scotland. All right, let's play a little Geoguessr, shall we? Since we've been doing Normandy, let's do a Normandy map. Or a Normandy one here. Normandy beaches. Here we go. Or Normandy 1944. I'm trying to find one that's got like a bunch of hearts, but I guess maybe it's going to be this one here. I don't know if this one's specifically going to be about D-Day or not. But I'll give you guys the link here in just a second. Going to school with School to Ypres, very cool. I want to get back there sometime. My whole family would definitely be good with living in Scotland. Yes, they absolutely loved it. If you have kids, you know that going on a family vacation is fun, but it's also stressful. And usually after so many days, everybody's ready to kill each other and everybody's ready to get home. And my wife especially, we were very concerned that 2 weeks on vacation away from home was going to be a lot for our family. But to be honest with you, because we did our first week in England and our second week in Scotland, when we got to the last day in Scotland, we were all trying to figure out ways that we could stay longer. We were loving it that much. And every one of them, all three of my kids and my wife and myself, we were all saying, man, we've got to go back to Scotland. We absolutely fell in love with that place when we were there. Who do I stand in BTS? I don't know anything about BTS at all. Favorite Civil War battle to study? It's been Gettysburg historically, but right now I'm really into Shiloh and Vicksburg. Mithril, we didn't see a single midge when we were there. In fact, we saw very few insects at all. We were actually shocked by the lack of insects in Scotland. It was really weird, actually, for us. I've heard the stories about the midges, but we didn't experience that at all. What do I like most about Germany? I've only spent a few hours in Germany, so ask me again in October. We did do Time Guesser in a stream once. Yes, Professor What is right. I have not been to New Zealand. Would love to get there. Did not try Buckfast in Scotland. I did try Iron Brew. It tasted like bubble gum. Never really watched Deadliest Warrior. Not only did we not have any midges in Scotland, we also, with the exception of about 20 minutes when my daughter and I were in Whitechapel in London, we didn't see any rain the whole 2 weeks we were in the UK. It was crazy. Shadow Wolf, play Call of Duty World War II. I'm not so good at the shooters anymore. I think my reaction time has slowed in my old age. Would I support reinstating the Holy Roman Empire? Nah, I think we're pretty good the way things are in Europe right now. Thank you, Sean, for that. Did not try a deep fried Mars bar. Lucy Wood, thank you. Most underrated and overrated U.S. president. Most underrated, Grant. Because I think everybody looks at the corruption that happened in his administration and overlooks some really, really good things he did. And I may be a little biased in that. Most overrated U.S. president, Franklin Roosevelt. All right. Give a few more seconds, and then we're going to start this up. If anybody wants to join, I'll post the link one more time. I've played a little bit of Total Tank Simulator. Haven't been following a lot with the Ukraine war lately. What's the first place outside the U.S. that you should visit? Well, it really depends on what you're interested in. I've not been to Spain. My sister's going to Spain in a few weeks, though. She's going to Barcelona. Indianapolis, I love Indianapolis. I used to live in southern Indiana, spent a lot of time in Indy. One of my favorite cities. Really like it there. Do I like Wordle? I've played it here and there. All right, we're going to get started. It's a 30-second timer on this one. I'll probably do much better at this after I actually go to Normandy in a few weeks. But for the time being, I'm not really going to know where I'm at all. So this is apparently not going to be Battlefield related, or at least it doesn't appear to be. So we're just going to guess somewhere in Normandy. I was hoping it would be specific to the battlefield, but it looks like it's not. So we might have to do another one. That's Dieppe. Okay. Or near Dieppe anyway. All right, not a clue here, but this does look very much like a typical French road, that's for sure. I've driven on a lot of roads like that when I was at the Somme. All right, we'll go somewhere like, I don't know, over here. I have no idea. It's outer Normandy. That wasn't a bad guess. Where did it end up being? Okay, so that's actually real close to Point to Hawk. Okay. German boy. Einstein urged America to develop atomic bombs. I don't know if he wanted us to develop the bomb, but I know he didn't want Germany to have it. Yeah, I got no clue where any of these sites are. These are all kind of inland, and um, it's too small of a town to be Carentan, because I think Carentan's a bigger town than this. Newville? I got no idea. Really have no idea. Your dad worked for the U.S. ambassador to Mexico. Very cool. Wow, that's way over here. Yeah, we're gonna do another one of these on just the beaches. I think after these 5. Look like a Ross a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, none of these are gonna like really mean anything to me. So I'll be curious to see who does well on this one. We'll do another one with the beaches. Max, thank you for that. Got to open my Mountain Dew here. Is Oppenheimer a hypocrite? No, I don't think so. I think he did what he knew needed to be done, but then still could feel the way he did about how nuclear weapons ended up afterwards. I am definitely going to watch the movie, yeah. All right, let's see here. See, I don't know where any of these places are, so that doesn't really do me any good at all. Highly recommend if you haven't ever visited France that you visit. Beautiful country. I've only really spent time in eastern France so far, but loved the people. I thought they were all super friendly and welcoming, and just really, really enjoyed my time. Verdun is a beautiful city. Looking forward to checking out Paris and then Normandy. Good job, Rowan. Nobody did well on that one, I don't think. I mean, you guys did pretty good, but let's all right, let's do this again, but this time do there was one that was Normandy 1944. That's the one we're going to do. Give you the link again. France is normally flat. Yeah, that's true. But in eastern France, like the area around Verdun, super, super hilly. Reminds me a lot of central Pennsylvania, like the Appalachian Mountains. Space Jesus, you grew up next to James Buchanan's birthplace. Is that in Lancaster, Pennsylvania? Molar Mechanic. Yeah, you're right about that. I have mouthwash about 10 feet away. So, History Savior, thank you for that. Excited to get over there and see these areas. Walter Rowley, Sean Jones. I don't have a lot of thoughts on his treason, but I did do a video from his burial place, which is in the little chapel right next to Westminster Abbey. Hopefully I'll get that up soon. Have not been to Ireland, but we have direct flights from Cleveland to Dublin now, so I'm definitely hoping to get to Ireland. John Reedy, I lived in a little town called Owensville, which is like a half hour from Evansville. It's in Gibson County. All right, let's dive into Normandy 1944. All right, now we're talking. Okay, there's a church. I'm going to get over here and look at the other side of the church, because if it's the one in Saint-Mère-Église, it's going to have a paratrooper on it. I don't think it is that one. I'm going to run out of time because this is like a 30-second thing. Carentan. It's Carentan. Ah! I'm not going to have time to get to Carentan. That's Carentan, though. No, it wasn't Carentan. I saw a sign for what I thought said Carentan, but I guess not. Totally wrong. 195 points. That was terrible. Okay. That is a... I can't see it. Some kind of memorial that's got flags for all the countries that fought in Normandy. I can't see it, though, to know what it is. Oh, I should have made the timer a little bit longer than I did. I'm going to go over this way further because it's got a British flag and Polish flag. No. Not even close on that one either. Rate France's English-speaking abilities. Actually, snapshot in history, thank you for that. With one exception, every French person I encountered spoke English. The only one who didn't was at this little hotel that I wasn't even expecting to stay in. It's a long story, but basically the place I was supposed to stay in Ocean Villiers, I don't know where. See, the problem is I don't know Normandy well enough to know where these places are. Nobody was there when I showed up at the place I was supposed to stay. So I had to hurry up and find another hotel, which really sucked because I was supposed to do a live stream and talk to JD's history class. But I was in the middle of trying to find a hotel and had no signal, so I couldn't do that, and I had to find another place. Ended up finding this little hotel in Peron is where I stayed. And the young girl who was working the desk didn't speak English, so she flipped her computer screen around and typed everything into Google Translate. But literally, she was the only person I encountered in a hotel or a restaurant or a museum anywhere in my week in France who did not speak English. And the same is true in Belgium, in the Netherlands. Pretty much every place I've been on continental Europe, the people have spoken English. Okay, let's see. Well, at least I got 1,000 points out of that one. I'm terrible at doing geoguessrs in places I've never been. This looks like it's real close to the ocean. It just gives me the vibe of an ocean town. Juno Beach. Okay, where's Juno Beach? It's over this way further. I don't know exactly where, though. I'm going to go with this one here. I know Juneau's over, further east. How close was I? Oh, it was over this way a little further. Zach, thank you. The book, slow process. The research is done. I've started writing the first chapter. That's about how far I've gotten, but I've gotten a lot of the research done. So that's the good news. That's a Canadian monument. So again, I'm thinking we're going to be somewhere in the Juno Beach area. Or maybe Sword. I mean, somewhere around here, I'm going to guess. Vaslav, I think Vaslav is how you pronounce your name. I'm trying to remember. And thank you for that, by the way. That was Bonneville. Okay. 5 miles away on that one. Nice job, Rowan, again. All right, we'll have to try something different this time. Who would have won a major war for their country, Empire, Napoleon Bonaparte? It's so hard to compare people from different eras just because of the nature of technology and warfare in their times. But I feel like Julius Caesar was the better general compared to his contemporaries than Bonaparte was. I'm going to change the time limit. That's way too short. I agree, JD. We're going to change it to a minute. And we're going to do JD versus Chris getting juicy. Hey, listen. JD, out of all the people on YouTube, is probably the most similar to me. I think we both have 2 sons and a daughter. He's a couple years younger than me, but we're both Christians. I think politically we're probably very similar to each other. We both have a desire to eat meat and don't really care for green vegetables and things like that. We both obviously love history. JD is my spirit animal. Dad talks. Thank you. Your great grandfather stormed Juno. Awesome. I hope he survived. The Mountain Dew can does blend into the green screen. Yes. John Reedy, you built 3 towers in Owensville. That's crazy. I don't think we're going to Pegasus Bridge. At least it's not on the list. All right. What should we do this time? We'll do another U.S. Civil War one. I gotta wash my mouth out from the Normandy one and how terrible I did with that one. U.S. Civil War battlefields. I'll give you guys the link. We'll see if I can get lucky like I did the one time we did this, and it was an empty field, and I knew exactly where it was on the Shiloh battlefield. Commander Neo 60. Thank you. I've really been enjoying that series as well. I did see he posted a screenshot on social media last night of part 6, and that's where my church is finally going to show up. I don't want to say denomination because we're not a denomination, but the kind of fellowship of churches that my church is a part of is in that episode 6 that he did. What does being conservative mean to me? It's hard to say. I'm very fiscally conservative. In other words, low taxes, low government spending. I'm probably a little more moderate on some of the social stuff. And I'm also probably more moderate than most conservatives when it comes to gun control. I'm probably somewhere in between the kind of extreme far right position on gun control and the moderate position on it. How would I define a cult? That's a tough one. Might get into that sometime, but I think a lot of things that define a cult, a lot of times they're very focused on the leader or the founder. There's a lot of end times theology usually associated with cults, things like that. Oh, I'm definitely a capitalist, but I do believe in some government regulation. All right, let's dive in. U.S. Civil War battlefields, 1 minute timer this time. Oh, we're going to start on the water, are we? Oh, gosh. That's a tough one, but I feel like this has got to be... I really have no idea, but my gut tells me maybe this is the area down around Forts Jackson and St. Philip, which had to be run in order to get to New Orleans, but I don't know exactly where on the Mississippi River those forts are. I just know they're somewhere between the ocean and New Orleans. So I'm just going to guess like right here. I really have no idea. The Great Lake Battle. I'm probably totally wrong and it's in another part of the country. Is this island number 10? No. What in the heck does that spot have to do with the Civil War? I don't know. Well, that was terrible. Okay. Well, there's a sign there, so obviously we're going to be able to see what the sign says and figure out what Battlefield Park this is. I don't know exactly what part of the Richmond battlefield that is. I don't know. Let's go over here. Gary Edelman. Yeah, I would count on Gary to know these spot on for sure. Gonna see Gary again here in a couple months in Gettysburg. As a practicing Christian, how do you view other religions, especially polytheistic ones? As a Christian, I love and respect everybody. Obviously, in order to believe in my faith as I do, I necessarily have to believe that yours is wrong, but that's not going to affect how I treat you in any way. I hope that's about as honest an answer as I can give. The first one was the river. That was not the river outside of Fort Donelson, because that was Mississippi River, John. And Fort Donelson is, that was over here near New Madrid, Missouri. Fort Donelson is over here near Dover. So it was definitely not Fort Donelson. Anyway, where was that one? Oh, Richmond, Kentucky. I knew that didn't look like Richmond, Virginia. That was what threw me off with that one. All right, this one doesn't look familiar to me either. These are all battlefields I haven't been to. What national cemetery is that? Oh, wait. I know where this is. Oh, geez. Okay. Was just here. I know exactly where this is. I just wasn't used to seeing it from that side. All right, I know exactly where this is. In fact, I know the exact spot. If I can find it in time. That's got to be right about here. Richmond, Indiana. Yeah, that's over on the border with Ohio. That's Antietam National Cemetery. I was how far away? 23 yards away on that one. There we go. I was about to be embarrassed for you. Thank you, JD. Yeah, that would have been sad if I would have missed that one, since we were just there last summer. It just took me a minute to realize which side of the cemetery we were looking at. Okay. This looks familiar, but not familiar enough that I'm catching what it is right away. Thankfully, I've got a little bit of time here. Tigert Valley River. That's Kentucky. I mean, the Tigert Valley is in Kentucky. This is like a really obscure battlefield, if that's the case. That's got to be like eastern Kentucky somewhere. It's not Harper's Ferry. I honestly, I think it's got to be somewhere in eastern Kentucky. No. There's a Tigert Valley in Virginia, too. Philippi. First battle of the Civil War. And it is pronounced Philippi. Okay. Will I ever tour Asia? I wouldn't mind going to like Japan or something sometime. Toledo belongs to Michigan. Changed my mind. I won't. You can have it. What continent would I say has the best history? For me personally, Europe. But that doesn't mean it's the best. It's just the history I find personally most interesting. Every continent has great history. Probably North and South America have less than the others. Wow. This one's really obscure. I have no idea. I'm getting Cold Harbor vibes on this one, but I could be completely wrong about that. Most of the Cold Harbor battlefield is not preserved. Cold Harbor's out in this area somewhere. Trying to remember exactly where. Darn it, where's Cold Harbor? It's east of Richmond. I'm going to guess around here somewhere. No, it wasn't. Is that Port Hudson? Port Gibson. Yeah, Port Gibson. Port Hudson is down further south. That's Port Gibson. I've been there. I haven't been to that. Oh, Bayou Pierre? Oh my gosh, I've been in that exact spot. I've gone to that little Bayou Pierre Presbyterian Church. I didn't recognize that spot at all. Wow. What regiment is the first Minnesota of the CSA casualty percentage? Oh, the first Texas at Antietam. Snapshot in history. See my video on that. They actually had worse casualties than the first Minnesota at Gettysburg. You're at work right now, Zach. All right. So, Jay Reedy, good job on that one. I got 6th. That's really disappointing. We're going to do that one more time, and we'll probably wrap it up with this one. If anybody else wants to join, I'll give you the link here. We'll do one more round of the Civil War battlefields because I got to redeem myself. That was kind of sad. I have played Total Tank Simulator. CDC, I care. Zach's been a long time supporter of this channel, so he can talk about being at work all he wants. As a Welsh guy with no knowledge of the Civil War, I'll take 17th. Yeah, fair. I've not been to Branson. Can I find my house? Yeah, I'd be able to find my house on here, no problem. I'm not going to show you, though. Future CK3 videos. Yeah, I wouldn't mind going back to that game. I really enjoy that game a lot. All right, here we go. Last round. Then I got to eat some lunch and go to my son's soccer game. Ooh, wow. This is not a battlefield I've been to, but it looks awesome. Where is that? It's not letting me move. I have no idea where this is. But it's a battlefield I need to get to, that's for sure. There's hills. Good night. I'm trying to think of where this could even be. It's got to be a small battlefield somewhere. I don't have the first clue where this one could be. Maryland Heights, is that possible? I'll go with that. I'll click something around Harper's Ferry and see where it is. Nope, it was in, part of me thought maybe Atlanta. That's I've been to Kennesaw Mountain. That didn't look like the part of Kennesaw Mountain I've been to. Oh, that's on the trails. That's why. I've only been on the parts that you park near. That's why. Kennesaw Mountain's really cool. I like it there. Lookout Mountain, I didn't think it was that because Lookout Mountain, I think, is more clear and doesn't have places you can walk around like that. But then again, I didn't remember that Kennesaw Mountain did either, so. Happy early Mother's Day, everyone. All right, so this reminds me a lot of the highways in and around Richmond. But it also could be the wilderness. It's definitely Virginia, though. I'm pretty sure it's Virginia. Yeah, this might be the wilderness. Route 3. That might help a little bit. Oh, yep. Here we go. Chancellorsville. Chancellorsville Wilderness. There's Route 3. I'm going to guess right in this area here. I knew it was Virginia. There's a back trail. Lookout. Okay. How dare you not know every hiking trail? Yeah, this is definitely in the Wilderness Chancellorsville area. The battlefields are right next to each other, like a mile apart. So it was actually a little further east than I guessed. Somebody was like right on. X was like right at the spot. Oh, that's right near the Stonewall Jackson Monument. I did a video there. I didn't remember that was that spot. I think I know where this one is. No, maybe not. Yeah. Ugh. Nah, I don't think that's... Boy, this feels like Shiloh to me, but I'm not entirely sure it is. The road doesn't look like Shiloh, though. The road is not wide enough, but the terrain looks like Shiloh. I'm going to guess maybe somewhere down here around, like, Yorktown. I really don't know for sure, though. Hello, Noct. My next trip I talked about at the beginning of this video. You can go back and watch it later. Going to France in a couple weeks. What am I having for lunch? Probably going to make a pepperoni roll. Oh, wow. This was way the heck over here. Missouri. Wilson's Creek. I've never been to Wilson's Creek. That's why. Dang. These have been obscure. All right. We got hills in the distance. So it's got to be... Oh my gosh. There's nothing. Nothing but some side roads. There's no signs, no landmarks of any kind. Good night. I'm just going to keep on moving until I see something that helps me. Or I run out of time. Oh, wait, here we go. Oh, okay. This is going to be part of, this isn't Monocacy, is it? I'm just going to guess in this area here somewhere. I speak a little bit of French. I took 3 years in high school. Wait, what? Oh, there's a Washington County in Arkansas. What did I do? Prairie Grove. Good night. I took 3 years in high school and a semester in college of French. But most people speak English there, so... All right, I know where this is. 100% know this one. I just got to figure out exactly where on this battlefield it is. Yeah, this one's easy. Easy for me, because I've been there. I can't quite read the name of the brigade. I'm going to look for a marker up here. Illinois, 40th. All right, we're just going to have to guess. This is definitely Vicksburg. Fantastic battlefield, by the way. One of my favorites. I think it's probably somewhere around here. Totally could be wrong, though. An HOI 4 live stream, I should do something like that sometime. Oh, it was the northern part of the battlefield. I was not close. But it was definitely Vicksburg. All right. Good job, X. Rowan did great all the way along. I ended up in fourth in that one. But thank you guys so much. Thank you to everybody who donated in the super chat, who joined us for this. Next video from the Shiloh battlefield's going up in the next couple of days. We'll continue the series on religion. There's still 3 episodes to go on the history of Christian denominations. And if you aren't already, follow me on Instagram, because I'll be posting all kinds of videos and pictures from the trip to France there on Instagram. So check those out. You guys take care.